Happy New Year. My name is Liz Hathway and this is my look at 2018. Obviously, we'll be covering everything, but I want to pick up on a few of the big things that are happening in the year. I think one of the major events following on the back of the shift of Saturn into Capricorn on December the 20th, 2017, is that we have in May, I think it's the 15th of May or the 14th of May, we have Uranus moving into Taurus. So this sort of earthy energy is starting to really gain ground now. We're starting to sort of move away from trailblazing and speculation and, just general excess of fire into the much more conservative, much more about preserving what we have, about learning on through past experiences, to capitalize on the things that we know, to really put a fundament down, if you like, in certain areas of our life that we can build upon. Fire is inspirational. Fire lights the spark, sets it all in motion, and gets us sort of motivated in many ways towards realizing a dream or an ideal or something. But the stages that we need to take, or the steps we need to take to get there, fire hasn't really got the patience quite often for all of that, whereas earth has. Earth is very much about plodding along step by step, 1 inch at a time, 1 day at a time, but slowly but surely moving forward towards a goal. So it's a great energy when it comes down to making it real, to making it more than a dream, to actually making things concrete. Concretization is maybe one of the best words that you can use for earth energy. It's not about dreaming. It can be sometimes a little bit plod, and it needs to jolly itself up a bit, but it's a great solid sort of, just make it happen sort of energy. Uranus in Taurus is going to bring a lot of changes our way slowly, because on the 6th of November it re-enters Aries for a while, and at the same time on the 8th of November this year Jupiter moves into its own fire sign, Sagittarius. So there's a lot of inspiration of fire around to get us ready for 2019 when we get to the end of this year. But for a lot of this year it's about saving, conserving, and anything with Uranus and Taurus, anything that's that's durable. Those sort of makes, for example, like Volkswagen, or companies that have showed that they have offer quality goods and have staying power, and you're not going to have a lot of hassle with them because they're good quality stuff. This is what Uranus and Taurus will be all about, I think. Also about maybe a new wave of feminism, where women become much more militant, anything connected to conservation, whether it be forests, oceans, or animal welfare. That is going to be put on the agenda through, I think, imaginative campaigns, where possibly social media and, flash actions. But certainly the focus is going to move away from, the quick buck, which can be quite fiery, much more towards how can we make things last? How can we have less impact on our planet? So that's really good. This is what we're coming into with Uranus moving into Taurus. And I also think, if you think of somebody like Karl Marx, for example, who was a Taurian, I think Uranus in Taurus could bring out a reassessment of his philosophies. And also we could see silly things like the return of the necktie. The neck is a Taurian thing, and ties are very much about a way to express originality. So it's all about neckwear and things happening around the neck, original things. Jupiter trines Neptune in 2018 twice. We had one on December 3rd, we have another trine on the 25th of May, and then again on the 19th of August. So great boom, optimism, feel-good factor. If you feel confident, then you're willing to spend as well. But there's always with Neptune that little risk of it being a bit pie in the sky, promising more than you can deliver, and just keep it real. That's, I think, the message now, certainly with the planets in Capricorn and Uranus in Taurus. Keep it real. Don't promise more than you can deliver. So we have Pluto stations 2 on the 22nd of April and the 1st of October, always worth noting those periods. And we have a number of eclipses, of course, where I think the one on July the 27th is really interesting because it has the moon in as a total lunar eclipse, moon conjunct Mars on the south node, with the north node, of course, in 553 Leo then. And that is at the same time as the USA is having its nodal return. So it's, again, there's a risk because the node in the US horoscope often comes into play when there's naval activity, when there's some kind of movement of ships and, yeah, a sort of build-up of tension. So that period as well in July, from, you know, the period 2 weeks either side of that total lunar eclipse on the 27th of July is again a period that springs out. But for me, the certainly from a mundane perspective, the period where the tension really goes, you know, highest is going to be, I think, in the spring, you know, starting with actually Mars entry into Capricorn on the 17th of March. Because Mars moves straight in to Capricorn and then it contacts a conjunction with Saturn on the 2nd of April. And of course, Saturn in his own sign exalts Mars. So this feels quite militaristic to me. This feels like the strong arm. This feels like military solutions, you know, talking hard, macho behaviour. At the same time, we have Mercury conjuncting the Sun in Aries, square in Pluto in Steinbock. So you could have a breakdown in dialogue, very tricky period maybe with the Brexit talks, or is there some kind of behind the scenes planning going on with regard to some kind of attack? But it's a difficult period there. There'll be the very first week of April. Because what we see as well, after Mars conjuncts Saturn on the 2nd of April, Mars becomes besieged. It's between two malefics. Because there's no doubt in my mind that Pluto, in a mundane, from the mundane perspective, is most definitely a malefic. So we have Mars coming in between Saturn and Pluto. So this is a tricky little period here for Mars. So you have the Sun then coming into the conjunction with Pluto on the 11th of April. Sorry, the square with Pluto. Saturn retrograde on the 18th of April. Pluto retrograde on the 22nd of April. And then Mars finally conjuncts Pluto on the 26th of April. So only then does it move out of this besieged position where it's caught between a rock and a hard place. And again, with Jupiter, Mars ruled in Scorpio, these are fixed. Uranus in Taurus fixed. There's a lot of fixed energy there, and this military solution seems like a good one. Hopefully there could be some great things going on sports. That would also help because it would give another channel. But this feels quite difficult energy to navigate, certainly, also possibly for us as individuals as well, because what we see is as well between the 17th of March and the 7th of April is that Mars itself is out of bounds, so it's not obeying the authority of the Sun. It's a wild card. It's doing its own thing. It's so this whole period from beginning of March, certainly from the time as well that Mars becomes besieged, and that is between the 2nd of April and its conjunction with Pluto, which is the 26th of April. So those weeks there is a sense of mounting tension, and we really need good leadership in this period to help us out. Because if you think, you know, Donald Trump, for example, is very martial. He has Mars on the ascendant. He also is quite verbal. If we look at that Mercury, you know, the Sun in Aries, you know, with Mercury there, square Pluto, for example, in early April. You know, Mercury is out of bounds in Donald Trump's own horoscope, as is Pluto. So this is someone who will talk, certainly is willing to, you know, take things to the edge. So that is, for me, the month, the main area of the year, I think, where we should be looking to use the experience that we have. And of course, it's great for us that we have Neptune in Pisces still, because Neptune in Pisces has a depth of wisdom to it. Sometimes not acting is the best course, you know, to just pause, just to stop, just to breathe, just to let go. This is Pisces, the wisdom of Pisces. Okay, wishing you a go with the flow, wonderful year. I'm going to be talking about the details. I'm just sort of pointing out what I see as the hot spots of the year and the main trends. Thank you for listening. Bye.